Welcome to Funnel Hacker Radio Podcast, where we go behind the scenes and uncover the tactics and strategies top entrepreneurs are using to make more sales, dominate their markets, and how you can get those same results. Here's your host, Dave Woodward.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Funnel Hacker Radio. You are in for a special treat. First of all, today is episode 100, and I'm so excited to have MaryEllen Tribby on with us. MaryEllen, thank you so much for joining us.
Dave, thank you. And I am so honored to be the 100th episode.
I am so excited about this. This is, it's just really an honor to have you on this show today, because this is one of the things I get, people always say, gosh, Dave, you have a lot of men on this show. And I love your background. I love who you are. I love what you represent. And I'm just so excited. And MaryEllen, you've done so many things. We were just talking offline just a few minutes ago as far as your passion for what you do. And I think that's what I'm most excited about, is really to help people understand how you've been able to turn your passion, leaving a high-paying CEO job in 2009 and never looking back, and really have created not only something amazing for you, but this tribe that you've created is just enormous. And I'm so super excited to get going here.
Oh, good. Me too. So let's get this party started.
All right. So MaryEllen, one of the main things you were just talking about briefly, and the fact that you had the opportunity of taking your 12-year-old daughter out to basically go to the Miami Open yesterday as far as tennis. That laptop lifestyle is one of the things a lot of our listeners are always, trying to find out more about. And if you don't mind, just take a few minutes and explain to people kind of how you got into that and how you're able to actually live it today.
Fantastic. And so I just want to do a little bit of backstory on that. I will tell you that in beginning of I was at Early to Rise. I started at Early to Rise in about 2006, and it was a fabulous place to be, a big Agora company. And we took that company from $8 million to $26 million in 15 months using a very specific business model and method, which is basically an inbox magazine. And what we spent a lot of time doing was teaching people how to start their own online inbox magazine. And we did seminars on this. We wrote about it all the time. So I literally taught people how to do this when I was CEO of Early to Rise. And I remember 2 years, so 2 years before I started Working Moms Only, I bought the URL workingmomsonly.com while I was at Early to Rise teaching people how to start their own business. And I kept saying to myself, someday I'm going to do this. I really want to help working moms start their own business, and have that financial freedom and eliminate that overwhelm that so many working moms have. So I kept saying, someday I'm going to do this. Someday I'm going to do this. Long story short, in the beginning of 2009, I had a breast cancer scare. At the time, I did not know it was a scare. And I went through 21 days of pure hell with just my husband and I knowing what was going on. And a lot of doctors, a lot of kind of slicing and dicing, a lot of testing, and 21 days to the day that the first doctor said, we can't rule out malignancy, right? When a doctor says that to you, your heart just kind of right? And so 21 days later, I found out I was fine, perfectly fine. And that night, my husband and I celebrated. And I will tell you, the next morning, I woke up sick to my stomach thinking, I need to start Working Moms Only. And my husband and I talked about it. I went into the office that day and I resigned to one of the owners of Agora. And he looked at me and he said, it's about time you start your own company. He said, I would like Agora to be partners with you in this company. And I said, no, I want to teach people. I'm going to do this the way that we taught people how to do it here at Early to Rise. And then he said, I'd like to, and this is Michael Masterson, Mark Ford. He said, I'd like to personally invest in this company. And I said, thank you so much. But no, I need to do this the way that we've taught people how to do it. And so Working Moms Only was launched January 7th, 2010. So for over 7 years now, I've never looked back. And since then have launched another inbox magazine called The CEO's Edge, because, that's the beauty of a inbox magazine, is that you're advocating for a very specific group. And you don't want to be everything to everyone. And a lot of men would write to me all the time and say, "Hey, I love Working Moms Only, but I'm a dad of 3," or "Hey, I love Working Moms Only, and I'm a single dude." And they would say, "Hey, could you change your name?" And I would say, "No, I can't change the name of this, but you're more than welcome to join the community." But what I did is I started another community, the CEO's Edge, and it ended up being very funny because with Working Moms Only, we've got 80% women and 20% men. And with the CEO's Edge, we have 80% men and 20% women. So instead of diluting my advocacy for working moms, I just started another community. And by doing that, doubled our universe of folks, in my company.
I absolutely love it. MaryEllen, one of the things I've always known you to be is extremely congruent. And I think that congruence is paid off. Obviously, you've got twice the amount of business by keeping your messaging so direct to your audience and making sure that they're able to build trust in you, and again, I saw you did that obviously at Agora. You've done that with Early to Rise. And I think the part I'm really excited about to kind of spend more time today talking about is this whole idea as far as, an inbox magazine and really what that is. The other thing I want to spend a lot of time talking about is what you are a complete master at, and that is email marketing. I know that we were talking earlier about the special report you've created recently as far as, the 7 rules of email marketing. If you don't mind, just tell people a little bit about how did you get so heavily involved in email marketing, and why is it such a passion for you?
It's so funny because I basically have been so fortunate in my career to work with people I consider the best direct response marketers. And this is the key to being a great email marketer. You have to have that direct response marketing bug, that direct response marketing passion. And by having that direct response marketing passion, you can put that into any channel. The first book I wrote with Michael Masterson was actually changing the channel. And it's really about, direct response marketing into any channel and multi-channel marketing. And that's the beautiful thing about email marketing is that you can take it and turn it into multi-channel marketing at any point, whether you are adding a radio campaign to your email marketing, whether you're adding some print to it, whether you are doing, text ads and banners and dedicated at the same time. So that's the beautiful thing. By really understanding direct response marketing, that, you've got your 3 main components of any campaign, which is, of course, your copy, your offer, and your list. But understanding that your list or the media you're buying is going to be responsible for 60% of that success, that your offer is going to be responsible for 30, and your copy is going to be responsible for 10. And that's where most people go wrong with email marketing, is they think it's mostly about the copy. But, and I always say this, you don't sell lingerie to lumberjacks, right? So you could have great copy, you can have fantastic copy, but if it's not going to the right audience, it won't work. Whereas if you have mediocre copy going to the exact right audience, you'll get a better response, But they say copy is king because copy is more creative, and once you have that right audience, that copy then can take your campaign to the whole new level. So it really is understanding that the exact same direct response principles apply for email.
I love that. I know that you really have, at your time at Agora or with Early to Rise and everything else, you've mastered what I refer to as that whole free to fee model. If you don't mind, explain to people what free to fee is.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, that is, something actually that I, really learned from Martin Weiss and Clayton Makepeace, back in 2000 when I was at Weiss Research. And
Real
basically,
quick, I'm gonna interrupt you there because you and I have both been around long enough to know who those names are, and I think some of the people who are coming in now, they don't appreciate the names you're tossing out there. So if you don't mind, give people a little bit of background, because these guys are like legends in the whole direct response marketing game, and I appreciate your friendship with them and how much time you spent with them. But just give people a little context here as far as how amazing that really is.
Sure. I mean, a lot of people probably actually might have Clayton a little bit more than Martin, but Clayton Makepeace is probably, is one of the best copywriters, direct response copywriters in the world. He is at this point probably the highest paid copywriter in the world. He had went from Phillips and Boardroom and Agora and Weiss, and he was my copywriter exclusively for 7 years while I was at Weiss Research. Martin Weiss, who is the face of Weiss Research and Safe Money Report, and everyone really knows him as a financial genius in the markets. However, what most people don't know is he is a brilliant copywriter and direct response marketer. So I, working side by side with them for 7 years, just exploded my knowledge. And it was, and together, Clayton and I, basically we took Safe Money Report, from, I don't know, at the time, 10,000 subscribers to over 100,000 paid subscribers. It was the highest circulation of any newsletter at the time for paid newsletters.
Huge. That is just crazy.
Yeah. And to go back to my previous point, Clayton was actually at Weiss for well before I was. And when I got there, and that's when direct mail was so big, they were mailing about 10,000 pieces and they couldn't break that, 100% ROI. And so once I got there, we went from 10,000 pieces to about 50,000 pieces to 100,000 to 500,000 to 1 million to 3 million pieces a month.
That's so insane.
With 101% ROI. But that goes back to tell you that you can have fantastic copy, but if you don't have someone who can find that media, find those lists, your business is not going to soar. So working though with Clayton and Martin, we came up with this theory that you have got to bond. You have got to bond with your customers. And that's when we started our free online, our inbox magazine, which is called Money in Markets. And that we launched that in 2001. And it is exactly the same inbox magazine today, 16 years later, as it was in 2001. Very little has changed. And the difference, the whole free to fee thing is basically giving your community, and I never ever really talk about my community as a list. I always talk about them as a like-minded community. Giving your community free, actionable, useful content, right? Actionable and useful are the keys. And you're building that trust, that relationship, that when you go to sell them something that you truly believe will enhance their lives, they trust you, they want it. And and this is where there's that yin and yang, debate between people. And if you have something that is going to change somebody's life, whether it's financially, emotionally, whatever that is, and you don't offer it to them, to sell it to them, you are doing your community a disservice. So that is why, selling is good. Selling changes people's lives. But by building that relationship first with the free, actionable, useful content and resources, you're building that relationship, that there is, trust there. And that was the biggest thing with Working Moms Only when I started that they knew that I treated them like my girlfriends, like we were a sisterhood, that they knew I wasn't going to offer them something that I haven't fully vetted and that I didn't believe in. So when you have that trust, it makes the selling part so much easier. It really eliminates, the selling part. They want it. They're asking you, what can I buy? What can I buy to help me improve my life?
Oh man, I hope you guys need to go back and re-listen to what she just said. That there's so much gold right there, MaryEllen. The importance there as far as actionable and useful is,
right,
especially in today's world where people are just trying to almost scan through things as fast as they can. But when your email comes across and they know that you've always provided actionable, useful content, it's going to get opened. And I know that's one of the things a lot of people struggle with these days. And I hear it all the time. People say, well, email is dead. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I just, it's there. Oh, drives me nuts.
And that's why, and if people are saying email is dead, then you haven't built a relationship with your community, right? They haven't built that relationship, because that's the so key, that if people are just sending out an offer and offer and offer without that. And when I say actionable and useful, the worst thing that somebody can do is read something from you or listen to something from you and say, oh, what do I do now? Right? They should know what they need to do now.
That's so key. It's funny. I literally was talking with Russell just yesterday about this. We're in the middle right now of his inner circle mastermind. So we've got 25 of our top students here, and one of the things we were talking about yesterday was the obligation that you have to sell and to be
Yes.
passionate about. If you don't believe in your product enough to sell it, you've got the wrong product. And
Right. Then why
it drives
do
me
it?
crazy. Yeah, it's like you're just trying to make money. You should be so passionate about what you have and your product that you absolutely feel obligated to sell it, to let people know it, to be out there. And so I'm so excited that of what you've created, this report. I was going through it, and I think it's so critical, especially in today's world where I run across so many people who are all, social media is taking over email marketing, and you're never going to have an email list. I'm like, wait a second. Social media and email marketing, they go hand in hand. And I know that you spend a lot of time in both areas. If you don't mind, could you kind of help people understand how it is you tie the two of those together?
Absolutely. When you think, really, you should think of social media as another direct response marketing channel, right? That you shouldn't be putting anything out there that isn't useful or actionable. You should be talking to the right people. And so it really is just another channel. Um, a lot of people will use, email, social media, just saying, hey, look at this link, look at this link, look at this link, as opposed to building, the bonding element. And so for me, everything is a cohesive message, right? And that's the key word. Again, like, you could say social media and email marketing. You could, like I said before, you could say print ads and email marketing. You could say, TV ads and email marketing. So as long as it's cohesive, as long as you're not confusing, your community or your prospects, right? So just think of it as the same message, just in another channel.
I think that's awesome.
You,
I
you
think,
know,
go ahead.
I mean, I do the same thing in Working Moms Only, in the actual Inbox magazine. Like it's not just, here's 7 ways to be more productive. I'll always tie it in with some kind of story. I'll have the same pictures of my kids in my actual issues of Working Moms Only that I have on my Facebook page, right? Because it's the same community, just, picking up advice from 2 different places.
That's awesome. I'm going to have you restate that because I think people miss that congruency between the two. If you
Right.
don't mind, just as far as the pictures, I've seen that backfire on people all the time where they think, oh, I've got to have something different all the time. And I think what you just said is really important. I want to make sure people got that.
Right. That it is the consistency, the congruency of having the same message. So, and like I said, I have pictures of my kids, the exact same picture of my daughter, playing tennis in my Inbox magazine for Working Moms Only, as we do on my personal and Working Moms Only Facebook page. Right. I had done an issue about the importance of writing things down, of journaling. And in my Inbox magazine, I had her she was 10 years old and she was signing a contract, right? We had a contract for her tennis, right? And she was signing that contract. And it was the same picture in the Inbox magazine as it was, on my Facebook page. So that, the rules, and this is something probably, many of your listeners might not know, that people in general need to see something 3.5 times before they purchase, right? 3.5 times. That is a proven direct response marketing statistic. Okay. So if they see something from you in your inbox magazine, then they see it on your social media page, and then they see it in a print ad, right? This is when they're like, oh, I've got to pay attention here. And that's why the message needs to be consistent. Right? That's why the offer needs to be consistent. So you've got to keep that consistency. And then by having, the different channels, that's really what explodes any campaign, any marketing campaign.
Oh man, that is so awesome. Thank you so much for reinforcing that with people. It drives me crazy when I feel, people think that they got to get a new picture every single time. I'm like, listen, you're building
Right.
a message that people want to relate to. They want to feel like they can trust you. And there's no better
Yes.
way of building trust than having consistency there, especially in today's world where Photoshop and Canva and everything else, and you see all these different crazy stuff going on. I think that consistency of that message, as it comes across to people, they just trust you so much more. And I think it's
Right.
amazing how you've been able to do that in so many different businesses.
And the being authentic, I mean, me, as a working mom, I tell people this all the time, perfection is overrated, right? You come to my house, there's 3 kids in my house, and we all have the same 24 hours in a day. So what do I want to spend my time doing, right? Do I want to spend my time having a picture perfect home, or do I want to spend my time with my kids, right? And my husband. So so remember that perfection is overrated, everybody. It's all about, having the best life for yourself.
I love that. Well, MaryEllen, tell me how I've read through your report. I love it. I think the message in there and the importance of really creating your own inbox magazine, it ties in so well with what we're doing with Expert Secrets that's about ready to launch. It's kind of the prequel to it. And how do people get what we've been talking about? I want to make sure that people have access to this right away.
Oh, fantastic. Just go to MaryEllenTribby.com/click. So it's
Awesome.
MaryEllenTribby.com/click. And it really is, I really am very proud of this report because I'm a very methodical person. And there's a real difference, as you know, Dave, between doing something and doing something correctly. And that's why some people would say, oh, direct mail doesn't work. Well, guess what? If you do it correctly, it works, right? Or email marketing doesn't work. If you do it correctly, it works. And that what I love about this report, it's very step by step. It's very methodical. And that's how I try to make, everything I put out there, very methodical, that it's an easy to follow blueprint. So I'm very happy with this report.
When obviously coming from the direct response marketing world, you're an amazing copywriter and your headlines are great. I think this is by far one of the best headlines. I was so excited when I saw it, and that is the new rules of email marketing, 7 strategic steps that convert browsers into buyers. I'm like,
Yes.
That is like so awesome because people are going, I got all these people browsing through my stuff. I just want them to buy it. And you literally
Right.
go through step by step the 7 strategic steps that convert browsers into buyers. And again, just a fascinating report. I want to make sure get everyone. We'll put it down in the show notes, MaryEllenTribby.com/click. Tribby has 2 B's in it, Tribby. And it's just an amazing, amazing report that really, and again, I appreciate you providing content like this. Tell me, as we get, kind of close to wrapping things up here, you've had the experience of literally working with massive, massive businesses. I love the fact that you didn't take on money when you started your own. But as you take a look right now, as far as growing and scaling an inbox magazine into really an inbox empire, what are some of the things that you've seen that really help from a scaling standpoint?
Oh, that's great. Great question. Really, the importance of first understanding the business model, right? Really understanding the business model. Because if you look at Agora is a billion-dollar company made up of inbox magazines, right? And you can use the monetary number of 50 cents to $1 per name per month for an inbox magazine. And so basically, when you put out your inbox magazine, you're going to do the exact same amount of work, whether you have 50 subscribers or 500 subscribers, right? To actually generate that inbox magazine, whether it's once or twice a week, It's the exact amount of work, regardless of your number of subscribers. So the importance of scaling is really understanding how to build that community, right? So because once you have your what I call keep your door open numbers, which basically means you know exactly how much money you need to make a day to keep the door open. And you just say, okay, now if I had another 100,000 subscribers, that's somewhere from $50,000 to $100,000 extra a month, right? Right. You know, then what else you can hire, and it's all about that planning and the lifestyle. I mean, for me, I have 2 inbox magazines and it's perfect, right? Because I have a virtual team and and if I want to add another inbox magazine, I know now that I would add another person per se. You know what I mean? So you really are able to look at what you've got and say, it all depends on building that community, getting those extra subscribers, and then knowing what you can add or what you don't want, but it's what you don't want to add. It's really up to you. But the beautiful thing about this is, for every inbox magazine you don't have to add an extra graphic artist or an extra copywriter, right? I would say that you basically could have one person for 3 inbox magazines with outsourcing certain things. So it's a very strategic and it's a very simple business model, which is why I love it. It's not rocket science. It is very much, this methodical way of building an online business. And I just truly believe it is the best online business in the world that you can do because everybody has experience in something and everybody is passionate about something. That's what makes it so wonderful.
I love that. I know that's why I was so excited to have you on today, just because what you're talking about is really kind of the direction that we are going here with ClickFunnels as far as with Expert Secrets. Again, we look at Expert Secrets as kind of being the underground playbook for creating a mass movement of people who willing to pay for your advice. You're taking that same idea, that concept from an email standpoint and really helping people understand that lifestyle that they can create based on the knowledge that they already have.
Yes.
If you don't mind, just because sometimes people think, well, this is only for other people. If you don't mind, could you share some just really random types of different inbox magazines that people could create or think about or do?
Absolutely. And I was saying this, Dave and I were talking a little bit before, and I said, if you have been raising, German Shepherd puppies, and you have experience in that and you love that, well, guess what? That is a business. There's an inbox magazine on woodworking. It has and this is a real one, it has over 100,000 subscribers. And this is this person's passion of just woodworking. Okay. They're inbox because a lot of people think, inbox magazines on financial, alternative health, and entrepreneurship. Well, of course. And those are what we call, big money categories, but there are so many big money categories. So, anything that gives helps somebody look good, anything that helps somebody save money, increase free time, have more fun, increase security, increase popularity, right? Anything. I say, there are inbox magazines on scuba diving, on kite making. So it's anything, again, that you have experience in and passion in. There's inbox magazines on different sports. So, and that's actually what my next one is going to be on is junior athletes. So again, a big passion of mine with three kids who are kind of, all elite athletes. So whatever it is that you love to do. So don't think, oh, I'm not a financial expert or I'm not a marketing expert. You don't have to be. That's the beautiful thing about this. And the other thing about this is within Inbox Empire, the program I teach, I tell you how to get free content because there are experts everywhere who want to be published. And that's the beautiful thing about Inbox Magazine is you don't have to be a writer because you are the publisher. You are the owner. It's if you think of sports teams, are you the guys on the field or are you guys up in the box, right? You're the guys up in the box watching, right? Owning it. So that's the beautiful thing about an Inbox Magazine.
Oh my gosh, we can literally go on for hours because you're just getting started here on the kind of stuff I am so passionate about is helping people understand. We were talking just the other day with regard to expert secrets as we're rolling it out, and there's three typical markets. Most people always think about what you hammered on real quick about just the whole idea as far as wealth, health, and relationships. But the sub niches are so crazy where you you literally can. There's not a topic out there that people would be willing to pay for today because of how huge the world is and how many opportunities there are as far as reaching out and connecting with people. You made mention of one of the things that I want to, if you can, just spend just a couple minutes on that, and that is because some people say, well, I'm not a writer and I don't know how am I going to get that content. I'm passionate about it, but how do I get that content? Could you just spend a couple minutes as far as talking about how they could actually find other people to get content from?
Absolutely. It's really funny because, like I said, experts really are everywhere. And if you go to, look at Amazon. Like Amazon is just a fabulous place to do a little bit of research of the people who write niche specific books, right? They want to be, published. There are so many sites right now that you can go to and get experts. I'm just trying to, okay, here we go. If you look at any inbox magazine that you really, 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 really like, look at the experts on their panels. I mean, if you go to my Working Moms Only and look at my panels, you'll see people like Dr. Al Sears or Mariel Hemingway or Brian Tracy, right? So, you just have to be a little bit of a detective. If you go to Easy Articles, right, and you just look on the side there, you just type in it's just a search box, type in any category, and people will come up, and then you just send them a little email. I mean, people want to help you. That's the thing that you need to know, is that people just really, really want to help you. I remember when I was at Early to Rise, and one of my friends introduced me to Tim Ferriss, the 4-Hour Work Week. Sure. And Tim and I had a conversation, and he said, would you publish me? Because this is before the book was just coming out, and so I mean, I was one of the first people to publish Tim in an inbox magazine. Right? We met in New York. We had breakfast down at the World Trade Center, where they were rebuilding the World Trade Center, and it was amazing. So, making those connections with people is key. And that's kind of the other thing I always say, is that everything matters. Like everything matters. So, answering those emails, just being kind to people, these things will all come back to you. Now, let me just give you a couple sites. There's a site that I really like that's called rtir.com. And that. It's okay. The guy, the Harrisons, right? Yeah. Bill Harrison. And basically, it is a site for experts. People actually pay to be on that site. So if you go to rtir.com, you will see that these people want you to publish them. And the same thing, you just kind of search button for category, and names will come up, and they will tell you how to contact these people. And that is free for you. And like I said, the experts pay to be on that site because they want to get their reports, their books, their product out there. Another great site is ehow.com, and it's the same thing. If you just those two sites alone, there are others, but those are my two favorites. You can go to, and you can find experts who want to be published.
That is just such awesome content. I hope you guys are taking notes, and I really hope everyone please make sure that you go out and you get MaryEllen Tribby's free report here on the 7 new rules of email marketing. Again, it's at MaryEllenTribby.com/click. But you're going to want to take that information and you're going to want to use those two sites to help build your inbox empire and your inbox magazine. And I am so excited to have had you just on this 100th episode of Funnel Hacker Radio.
Yay!
As we get close to wrapping up things, MaryEllen, anything else that you want to share with our audience?
I just want to share that, for a couple of years, I kept saying someday. And, you've got to turn that someday into your payday. And that's, what I did. And now for the last 7 years, I have been living that lifestyle. And I'm such an advocate for this because, another just brief story. Last year was a very difficult year, as I had two very dear friends pass. And they were 45 and 48 years old. And it was in 1 week they passed, and it was totally unrelated. They didn't know each other. And you just never know. And I know for me that living this life, being able to spend the time with my 3 kids, helping them create their dreams come true, spending this time with my husband, being able to travel, you just don't know what's in store for you. So being able to live a lifestyle where you have this freedom, but you're also contributing to the world, that I know I get letters from moms in Africa and Australia, and on some of our calls we have people from England and Italy, and it's just crazy and it's humbling, but it is, I can go to bed every night with this feeling of complete satisfaction. And I think, that's what we all need in life, is to go to bed and say, wow, I had a great day. I contributed, and I had a lot of fun. So, because you just never know. So if you're waiting, right, if you're waiting to that someday, you got it. Today's that someday.
Wow. I can't say anything more than that. MaryEllen, thank you so very much.
Oh, thank you, Dave. Thank you so much.
Again, everybody, that's MaryEllenTribby.com/click. You're going to want to make sure you all have an inbox magazine inside of you. You need to get this out, and MaryEllen Tribby's report there is going to help you do that. So go to MaryEllenTribby.com/click. Make sure you get that. MaryEllen, thank you again. It was such an honor to have you as my 100th guest, and I thank you so much.
Oh, Dave, thank you. Take care.
Thanks for listening to Funnel Hacker Radio Podcast. If you'd like to be notified anytime we release a new episode, just subscribe over at funnelhackerradio.com. In addition to that, we'd love to send you a free gift. You can find that free gift at funnelhackerradio.com/free trial. One last thing is, we love giving away cars. So if you'd like access to a free dream car, all you have to do is go to funnelhackerradio.com/dream car, and you'll get all the details. Thanks again for listening.